Good morning. Bon dia, everyone, if you're traveling over to Portugal this weekend. But if you're going to Brazil, you would say bom dia. This is June 27, 2025. Council meeting will now reconvene. As a reminder, we have closed, I'm not saying that today is June 27th. I'm saying the council meeting of June 27th, 2025 is reconvening. As a reminder, we have closed both the general public testimony at the beginning of the meeting, as well as testimony related to the unfinished business item, which related to Honoa'ula, Wailea 670. We will proceed with testimony and action on the remainder of the agenda. Today is Monday, June 30th. The public will have another opportunity to testify on Honoa'ula, Wailea 670 at a future council meeting. Madam Clerk,
Thank you, Chair.
please take roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Proceeding with roll call. For anyone who is not present in the chambers with us, please let us know if anyone except minors are present with you. Councilmember Pro Tempore Tasha Kama.
Cannot hear you. Okay, that's all right. We can see you.
Okay. No, I just needed the staff to unmic me. So
Okay.
good morning, Chair. Bon dia. And looking forward to completing today's agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm alone in my workspace by myself.
Okay, good.
Vice Chair Yukile Sugimura.
Bon dia, bon dia. Have a good morning, everyone. Looking forward to continuing on with a productive council meeting.
Councilmember Tamara Paulton.
I saw her over there.
Aloha kakayaka and bom dia kako. I am streaming live and direct from the West Mine Residency Area office, straight from the historic burn zone of Lahaina, and I have with me one unnamed minor canine. Thank you.
Councilmember Gabe Johnson.
Bom dia, Chair, council members, community members. There's no, I'm alone on my side of the office with my dog as well. So the birds are singing and the dogs are snoring and I'm here and ready to work. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Councilmember Kiani Rollins Fernandez.
Aloha kakahiaka, mai molokai nui ahina. I'm at my private residence alone right now, but I do have my son here at home with me, who's a minor, that may be walking around. We currently have no testifiers waiting at the Molokai District Office. Mahalo, Chair.
Thank you.
Councilmember Tom Cook.
Good morning, Dom dia.
Close enough.
Yeah, good morning, aloha. There's currently nobody at the Kihei office for testimony, but we have EAs on standby if anybody chooses to. Hope everybody has a good day. I'm looking forward to continuation of this meeting. Thank you.
Councilmember Nohelani Uhajins.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Bon dia.
Councilmember Shane Sinensi.
Aloha kakayaka kako, mai maui kina, and bon dia. Excuse me, here at my private residence, here by myself. I cannot promise any interruptions by some minor canines. And I need to leave chair at 11 o'clock. And no testifiers in Hana. Thank you.
And Council Chair Alice Lee.
Bon dia, everyone.
Chair,
I see Member Rollins Fernandez has her hand up.
Mahalo, Chair. I do have a flight at 10:20, so I will be transitioning to my vehicle in about 15 minutes. And I do have assigned to me for the motions Resolution 25-136 and Bill 49. If they come up while I'm, in transition at some point, just flagging that for you.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, please remember that.
Sure. Chair, you have all 9 members present, which means that you do have a quorum to conduct the business of the County Council.
Okay, proceed.
Chair, we'll begin with public testimony on county communications. At this time, we don't have anyone signed up, but if anyone would like to sign up on county communications, this is your opportunity. This is last call, and the countdown is 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's no one indicating a desire to testify.
Members, any objections to closing public testimony on county communications and accepting written testimony for the
No.
record?
No
No
objections.
objections.
So ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair, before you is County Communication 2512, Disaster Recovery International Affairs and Planning Committee Chair, transmitting a proposed amendment to Bill 104, CD1 2024, entitled A Bill for an Ordinance amending Chapters 19.04, 19.08, 19.29, and 19.36B, Maui County Code relating to kitchens, kitchenettes, and wet bars.
Member Paulton.
Thank you, Shucks. I misplaced my notes, but can we hold this one till the item comes up?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Yep. Ms. Clerk.
Chair, we are now moving on to committee reports. At this time, individuals who would like to testify on committee reports listed on the agenda, this is your opportunity. There was no one signed up. This is last call, and the countdown is 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's no one indicating desire to testify.
Members, any objections to closing public testimony on committee reports and accepting written testimony
No
for the
objections.
record?
No objections.
No objections, so ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair, from the Agriculture, Diversification, Environment, and Public Transportation Committee is CR 2532, recommending first reading of Bill 76 CD1 2025 to allow mobile food trucks or trailers of 1,000 square feet or less as permitted accessory uses on farms in the county agricultural district.
Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adopt the recommendation in Committee Report 25-32.
Moved by Member Johnson, seconded by Member Cook, to adopt the committee report in CR 2532. Discussion, Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. Members, Bill 76 CD1 2025's purpose is to amend the comprehensive zoning ordinance to allow mobile food trucks and trailers of 1,000 square feet or less as permitted accessory uses in the agricultural districts. The bill is spurred by the Agricultural Working Group, which reported that enforcement activities have been carried out against farmers operating food trucks during this administration. Almost all of the Ag Working Group was planning to testify on this on Friday, but they were attending Scott Bedroff's funerals, the former manager of Cowpole Ranch. Otherwise, they would have been there in person in chambers to testify, but that came up. So Maui County Code 19.30A.050 allows for 2 commercial agricultural structures as an accessory use on working farms in the agricultural district, which may include agricultural food establishments and agricultural product stands. The law was introduced in 2016 with the intent to include food trucks. However, food trucks and trailers were not specifically written into the bill. So even though farmers were allowed to legally operate food trucks on their farms for years after the law was adopted, they were shut down after the 2023 due to Zayat's new interpretation. Bill 76 proposes to add mobile food trucks and trailers to the definition of agricultural food establishment and amends the definition of agricultural product stands so that food trucks and product stands on wheels will count as accessory uses on working farms in the agricultural district. Bill 76 was amended in this EDUP committee meeting on June 5th, 2025 to incorporate recommendations from the Planning Commissions to remove the proposed bill's 500 feet distance requirement to have no distance required between food trucks, change the word state to Hawaii and prioritize Maui County produce, remove mobile food truck from the proposed bill's definition of agricultural product stands, and exempt Molokai. At this time, Chair, I have an ASF to introduce for this bill. So I move to substitute Bill 76 CD1 2025 with the proposed FD1 version attached to the ASF distributed by the clerk.
Second.
Can I get a
Moved
second on
by-
that? Thank you.
We have one. Member Johnson moved and Vice Chair Sugimura seconded the motion to substitute Bill 76 CD1 2025 with the attached proposed FD1 version. Discussion, Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. The proposed FD1 version of Bill 76 CD1 2025 is based on consultation with the Department of Corporation Counsel and makes non-substantive changes, revisions such as revising the purpose statement in Section 1 to better reflect amendments made to the bill coming out of the committee, amend language in Section 2 for consistency in both definition sections, and clarifying in Section 4 that the Molokai Community Plan Area exception includes both mobile food trucks and trailers, still requiring a special use permit for those uses. I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion. Thank you, Chair.
Any more discussion on the amendment? Yes, we have two, Member Sinensi and then Member Paulton.
Chair, I had a proposed amendment if Member Bolton wanted to go prior.
Up to you. Member Paulton, do you want to go first?
Okay, thank you, Shane. That's so kind of you. My question, I think, it could be for Member Johnson or it could be for Corp Counsel. In committee, Mr. Post was confused as to lot and like that. And when I spoke to Mr. Rotz, he said that everything after the first comma could be ignored, and for all practical purposes, lot is the same as a TMK. So I just wanted to double check with Corporation Counsel if they concur with that, because it was left unclear.
Deputy Counsel, Corporation Counsel Rowe?
Chair, yes, that's correct. We consider lots to be the same as the TMK.
He said yes.
Okay. So it's 2 food trucks per TMK, basically.
Mr. Rowe?
That would be accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Then Mr. Sinensi.
Mahalo, Chair. Move to amend the bill Section 4 by amending code subsection 19.30A.072 parent E to add the following. Number 4, within the Hana Community Plan area, after 25 mobile food trucks or trailers are registered, mobile food trucks or trailers require a special use permit.
Second that.
Okay, moved by Member Sinensi, seconded by Member Johnson. To approve another amendment. Discussion, Member Sinensi.
And I'm not sure if staff has handed out my ASF or has sent it. Oh, okay, people got it. Thank you, Chair. Despite my request, Bill 76 was not reviewed by the HANA Advisory Committee to the Maui Planning Commission. The amendment I'm proposing today was suggested through my own consultation with East Maui residents, some are concerned with food truck proliferation on ag zone lands and along the Millennial Highway, as you had heard some people testify to. However, farmers who operated prior to the commission's ruling would like to grandfather those existing ones by registration with the Planning Department, Chair. And I ask for the members' support of my motion.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the amendment, please raise your hand, say aye.
But I had discussion.
Oh, Member Paulton, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Discussion?
I just wanted to check because I'm not really sure. We just got these ASFs today. Is there a process for East Maui or Hana Community Plan area to register their food trucks? Because I thought the bill would just allow for it. So I'm not against it. I just was wondering if this has been run by the planning department and they have a process to register the food trucks and keep track for when it reaches 25 and that they're going to be posting that information so that folks know.
Member
Yes,
Sinensi?
I met and spoke with Deputy Lillis, and that was a recommendation to my question about capping it at 25 food trucks.
Okay, so they have a process they're going to enact.
Yes.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Okay. Member Rollins Fernandez?
Mahalo, Chair. Questions for Member Sinensi. 3 questions. The first question, do you know if, so you're allowing those food trucks that were already operating, but prior to this, there wasn't a requirement to register. So do you know how the planning department would determine if they were operating before they were stopped?
Mr. Sinanci?
Yes, and there was a list, actually from the advisory committee that had a list that was on commercial ag, residential ag. And so that's why we kept it at that number, to include all of those that were already listed. And then the current farmers did want to, hold on. Didn't want to limit it just to current farmers, but wanted to encourage new farmers and younger farmers to also that chance should they want to. So we added an additional 10 to the current number.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that there were 15 that were on the list, and you're allowing for up to 10 more that weren't on the list to register without a special use permit.
Correct.
Okay, and then for that 15, there isn't any language saying that, that stipulation of if they were operating, if the 15 were operating before they were stopped, that they would be allowed. So is it, you're just expecting those 15 to be part of that 25?
Correct. We had about 50 people showed up at the community meeting, and majority of them that attended were those farmers that had food trucks.
Okay, and then the last question, or I guess clarification. Special use permit. So this isn't a conditional use permit, which would require council approval. So this is a special use permit, which I believe would just require the planning commission's approval. Clarifying that process, and also, is there an expectation for the Maui Planning Commission to send to the HANA Advisory Committee for their recommendation before the Maui Planning Commission makes its decision?
And that has been the challenge, to have the advisory be sent some of these bills, but I'm sure we can create a process with the advisory and work with the planning department so we can hear those special use permits. I did ask at a previous meeting if special use permits would be sent to the HANA Advisory Committee, and they said there wasn't any process for that.
Okay, but there is an expectation of the community that the Maui Planning Commission would send it to the HANA Advisory Committee for their recommendation before final action is taken by the Maui Planning Commission.
Yes.
Okay.
That is an expectation.
Okay. Mahalo, Member Sinensi. Mahalo, Chair.
Okay, any more comments or discussion? Pro Tem Kama.
Thank you. Question for Mr. Sinensi. I have that expectation too, but is that expectation in writing, and should it be in writing? Because it seems like the HANA advisory is always bypassed, and and then they get things after the fact, and it's like, oh, slow your jets here. So is that in writing? Mr.
That's
Sinisi,
correct.
the expectation?
We're hoping with the addition of East Maui representative on the commission that we can advocate for all of these bills to be sent to the HANA Advisory Commission. With Mr. Lin now being on the Planning Commission. So we're hoping that we can advocate for that within the commission now that we have a representative.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye. Okay, now the main motion as amended. Any more amendments?
Chair, this would be a vote on the motion to substitute as amended.
Okay. The motion to substitute as amended, raise your hand, say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Are you watching too for the, because I can see only some of them.
Yep, and now we're on the main motion as amended.
Okay, now the main motion as amended. Any further discussion?
Chair.
Member Sinanci. Member
Thank you. I
Sinanci.
did want to mahalo Member Johnson and his staff for reaching out to the HANA community during our budget process. Thank you.
Any more comments or questions? Yes, Vice Chair Sugimura?
Thank you. I also want to appreciate what Member Johnson and his staff did for this bill. And I did read about it I mentioned it to Gabe, an email that came out, one of those think tank groups, and they basically were commending this bill, and they basically said other counties pay attention, you should do this to help ag. So what organization was it, Gabe? I don't know if you saw it.
That was the Grassroots Institute, the Libertarian group, which I don't see eye to eye with them so often, but kind of surprised me.
They were accolades to you, so thanks.
Okay, any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries.
Mahalo, members, the farmers, thank you.
Ms. Clark?
Chair from the Disaster Recovery International Affairs and Planning Committee is CR 2533, recommending first reading of Bill 104 CD1 2024-1. Allow for kitchenette and dwelling units in the county's residential and rural districts on Maui and Lanai. 2, require a dwelling unit with a kitchenette to be occupied on a long-term residential basis with 1 additional off-street parking space to accommodate higher intensity use for the kitchenette. 3, reduce the number of wet bars allowed as a principal use in dwelling units in the county's residential and rural districts on Maui and Lanai. And 4, make conforming amendments to the definitions of kitchen and wet bar.
Member Paulton?
I move to adopt the recommendations in CR 25-33.
It's been moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Hodgins, to approve the recommendations in CR 25-33. Discussion, Member Paulton.
Thank you. Your committee met on February 19, 2025, March 19, 2025, and May 14, 2025 to discuss Bill 104. This was originally discussed in the Housing and Land Use Committee on November 20th, 2024. Your committee notes that dwelling units with a kitchenette would be required to be occupied on a long-term residential basis. Your committee amended Bill 104 to address safety-related concerns by requiring kitchenettes to be internally accessible via an enclosed living area, be prohibited in accessory dwelling units, and not contain gas appliances. Your committee also revised Bill 104 to reduce the number of kitchenettes and wet bars allowed in the applicable zoning districts from 2 to 1 of each. Your committee expressed support for Bill 104 CD1 to accommodate multi-generational families in West Maui and expand rental opportunities and housing types on Maui and Lanai. Your committee voted 7-0 to recommend passage of Bill 104 on first reading. At this time, may I ask the clerk to please recall County Communication 25-12.
Clerk?
Chair recalling County Communication 25-12, Disaster Recovery, International Affairs and Planning Committee Chair transmitting a proposed amendment to Bill 104 CD1 2024 entitled Bill for an Ordinance amending Chapters 19.04, 19.08, 19.29, and 19.36B Maui County Code relating to kitchens, kitchenettes, and wet bars.
Member Paulson?
Thank you. I move to amend Bill 104 CD1 with the proposed FD1 version attached to County Communication 25-12 by doing the following. 1, amend Section 2 of Bill 104 CD1 by amending the definition of kitchenette to increase the size of refrigerators to 17.6 cubic feet or smaller. And 2, amend Section 10 of Bill 104 to read, this ordinance takes effect on approval except that for property on Maui or Lanai in a residential or rural district, a permit for a dwelling unit containing more than one wet bar may be processed if the permit application was submitted before this ordinance's effective date, and move to file County Communication 25-12.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Hodgins. To pass the motion, she just stated. Any further discussion, Member Paulton?
Yes, in testimony, we did hear from Mr. Crowley about doing away completely with the size of the refrigerator requirements, which I'm open to if this committee would like to do that. The other recommendation that Mr. Crowley had was that the autonomous unit created by a kitchenette may only be occupied by a full-time resident of Maui. And I'm also open to that if members would like to amend based on Mr. Crowley's recommendations.
Members? Further? Member Hodgins?
Thank you, Chair. This is for Member Paulton. So I don't disagree that we can increase the size of the refrigerator, because then we would have to assume that post-construction and in the placement of appliances, that somebody would go in and then check. So I'm okay to remove that. My other question is, was it long-term resident? Is that the language you had earlier? I forgot what specific thing you said.
Member
I
Paulton?
think he said full-time
Full-time.
resident. of
Okay.
Maui.
Don't disagree. How would we check on that, you think? How would we ask for a tenant agreement, or how would we do that? Full-time
I
resident.
think either like a long-term rental agreement would be one way, or if they're the owner of the dwelling and homeowner exemption would be the 2 ways. In my opinion, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if Corporation Counsel wanted to chime in.
Can we ask you, Mr. Rowe, how would this work? Would
Mr.
we
Rowe.
need to see, because right now our rental agreements look as what? More than 180 days or more. And that's all we kind of have, or can you tell me how would this work if we do pass something similar?
I would agree with Member Paulton. You could ask for a lease that demonstrates that, you know, it's for over, you know, you can even go over what's normally required, the 180 days you mentioned. You can, if the requirement is that they be a full-time, long-term resident, you can ask for demonstration of a lease that's even longer than that. And I think that the homeowner's exemption is also a good one, because you need to demonstrate through the homeowner's exemption that you actually live there.
Okay, and then who would ask for this information? Who would review the information, and who would be okaying this information during either the permitting process of this additional space?
I think it would be during the permit process, they would ask for this documentation to demonstrate that they meet the criteria.
Yes, what department?
I believe that this would be Public Works, but I'd have to get back to you.
Okay, because that would be interesting for me to know, because real property tax, that department deals with all of this information, and they usually keep record, and they're not part of our permitting process. So if Public Works is asking for it, is it the building plans review people? Because that's a little bit out of their scope. So I'm just curious what department would be. Maybe you can get back to that.
Yeah, and I don't see a problem with them, you know, even though, as you're correct, that real property tax usually looks at the exemptions, they can ask when the permit is submitted, that documentation showing that from real property tax exists.
And do you think this would be during the permitting process or like the CO application process?
That's a good question. I'd have to get back to you on that.
Okay. Okay, let me think about this. Thank you. Thanks.
Member Cook.
Would it be, if somebody was like a full-time caretaker that lived on the property and had an employment agreement, would that potentially also be used?
That's for Mr. Rowe, right? Not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's thinking.
I mean, I would think under that sort of arrangement, you'd still have some sort of lease document. So yes.
Okay, any more questions or comments? Ready for the vote? All those in favor? Yes?
We didn't amend the amendment yet. Was everyone okay with taking out the size requirement altogether on the refrigerator? Okay, I move to amend the size requirement and remove it completely and add the language, the autonomous unit created by a kitchenette may only be occupied by a full-time resident of Maui.
Member Paulton, what's an autonomous unit? Not autonomous, right? Autonomous.
Yeah, autonomous, I guess.
Oh, okay. You remind me of the person who says condominiums. Okay, slight diversion. Everybody in favor of the motion?
Real quick, Chair. Can we please, I would just like to answer, I'm happy to support this once I get a little bit more clarity on how this is going to work.
We can do that before
we-
second reading.
Okay, okay, that's
So
fine.
take out the second part and post it for second reading? Is that what we should do?
I would appreciate that, then we can figure out how this is going to work.
Okay, can you repeat the second part so that our staff knows?
So we're taking out the autonomous unit created by kitchenette may only be occupied by a full-time resident of Maui, but we're leaving in the removing any refrigerator size requirement.
Okay, staff, did we get that?
Wait, Chair, I have a suggestion for Member
Yes.
Paulton if she's open. We could use, I understand your want for full-time, but we do have the long-term residential or long-term residential basis in Chapter 19 in definitions, which just means occupying of a dwelling unit or lodging unit by an owner, family, leasee, or tenant for more than 100 or more days, and then we can figure out how to make that make better sense when planning does their admin rules, if Member Paulton's okay with that.
Oh, okay. Resolve it in the admin rules?
Or we can do whatever, but
Okay. My thinking was that either the dwelling unit or the kitchenette would be occupied on a long-term residential basis as in the code right now. So then we don't need to add anything for that, but just, I guess the amendment to the posted amendment is just to completely remove any size reference for the refrigerator, and they can have whatever size refrigerator they want. They could have a walk-in if they wanted to, I guess.
Okay. Are we clear on what we're voting on? We're voting on the original amendment, proposed amendment.
And we just need a second, Chair.
As amended to take out size of refrigerator.
Okay. Seconded by Member Hodgins. Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. I think we have 8 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. One excuse for now is Member Rollins Fernandez. Ms. Clerk?
Chair, so that was,
Now,
yeah.
Okay, second,
we gotta
another,
vote a couple more times.
another amendment?
Right, we
No.
No,
Okay,
vote
the
on the
main-
amendment as amended.
Okay, the main motion as amendment, as amended?
No,
Pardon me?
okay, we just voted on the amendment for the size of the refrigerator, and we had another amendment with the filing of CC 2512 that we need to vote on, and then we'll get to the main motion.
Oh, just the filing? We should have put that in that other amendment.
It's an amendment and the file, and to file. We had 2 amendments.
Okay, all those in favor of filing the communication, raise your hand, say aye.
And the amendment.
And filing the amendment?
No, it's an amendment and also to file.
Okay. So the first amendment
That-
was
that-
different. Okay,
Right.
the first amendment. So this is the
That
second
part
amendment.
was about
Yeah,
when it takes effect,
Right.
that, and filing.
okay. The second amendment, when it takes effect and filing. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Okay, 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Now the main motion as amended, unless there are any more amendments, no amendments. All those in favor of the main motion as amended, raise your hand and say aye. Okay, we have 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Chair from the Disaster Recovery, International Affairs and Planning Committee is CR 2534, recommending first reading of Bill 158 CD1 2024 to authorize the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Department of Police to help the county of Kauai with forensic drug testing.
Member Paulton?
I move to adopt the recommendations in CR 25-34.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Hodgins, to approve the committee recommendations in Committee Report 25-34. Discussion, Member Paulton.
Sorry, a bird just tried to commit suicide into our window.
Oh,
Your committee met on June 4th, 2025 to discuss Bill 158. The Kauai Police Department does not have the necessary lab to conduct forensic drug testing and reached out to Maui Police Department for assistance. Kauai County would mail evidence to Maui and provide reimbursement if Maui County expends funds to test novel drugs. Your committee supported Maui Police Department's efforts to assist Kauai County, but requested during the meeting and in a follow-up letter that Maui County's work be prioritized. Your committee agreed to amend Bill 158 by revising the Memorandum of Agreement's start date and term and incorporating non-substantive revisions. Your committee voted 9-0 to recommend passage of Bill 158 on first reading. I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion.
any more discussion? All those in favor?
Just
Okay,
that since Bill 158 passed out of DRIP, Kauai Police Chief Todd Raybuck retired, but his signature is still on the MOU. Per Deputy Corp Counsel Hopper, an amendment to the MOU is not necessary. If he was police chief when he signed the MOU, it would not affect the agreement. Kauai County could also sign the MOU after the ordinance is approval if needed.
okay, any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand, say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Chair from the Government Relations, Ethics, and Transparency Committee is CR 2535, recommending adoption of Resolution 2599 CD1, authorizing settlement of Melissa McGonigal versus County of Maui Police Department et al. Civil File 2CCV 23000030.
Member Hodgins?
Thank you, Chair. If there are no objections, may I please request the clerk also call up committee reports 25-36 through 25-40 at this time, please?
Ooh. Any objections, members? No objections, Ms. Clerk?
Chair, before you is 2536, recommending adoption of Resolution 25109 CD1, authorizing the retention of Mar Jones and Wang LLLP as special counsel to represent the County of Maui in pre-litigation negotiations and litigation regarding allegations made by Leo Kairas, a former County of Maui employee, for total compensation not to exceed $350,000. CR 2537, recommending adoption of Resolution 25110 CD1, authorizing settlement of JMC claim 4088770, County of Maui risk file 2024-0068 of Merck Coimbra and Alyssa Coimbra in the amount of $45,291.47. CR 2538, recommending adoption of Resolution 25116 CD1, authorizing settlement of First Fire and Casualty Insurance of Hawaii Incorporated versus County of Maui et al., civil file 2CCV 24001055. CR 2539, recommending adoption of Resolution 25120, authorizing the retention of Kobayashi Sugita and Goda LLP as special counsel to represent County of Maui Auditor Lance Taguchi, an employee of the Office of the County Auditor, in the matter of Christopher Salem's May 8th, 2025 complaint filed with the State of Hawaii Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs not to exceed $150,000, and CR 2540, recommending adoption of Resolution 25121, authorizing the retention of Beveridge and Diamond PC as special counsel to assist and represent the Department of Environmental Management, County of Maui, with the permitting process and any legal challenges arising out of the issuance of a national pollutant discharge elimination system permit for the Lahaina wastewater facility not to exceed $250,000.
Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Moana. I move to adopt the recommendations in CR 25-35 through CR 25-40.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Member Hodgins, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to approve all the recommendations in the CRs 25, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Discussion.
And 35. Thank you, Chair. At its meeting of June 2nd, 2025, your Great Committee met to discuss these resolutions authorizing settlement of claims or the retention of special counsel for various matters. Your committee received brief overviews of each matter in open session before convening in executive meetings to discuss confidential information. Your committee voted 8-0 to recommend the adoption of resolutions 25-99 CD1, 25-109 CD1, excuse me, 25-116 CD1, 25-120, and 25-121, and voted 7-0 to recommend the adoption of Resolution 25-110 CD1. And at this time, I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion. Thank you, Chair.
Any more discussion? I do have a question, Member Hodgins. In CR 25-36, at the tail end of that discussion, I know the initial request was for compensation, but did that also change into compensation and settlement?
Good question. I don't think so, but maybe Mr. Rowe can remember. I know that we discussed litigation and pre-litigation, and that part was changed, but I don't know if settlement was discussed. I don't think
Mr.
it
Rowe?
was.
Thank you, Chair. Which number are you asking about?
2536.
Leo Kairos.
It makes a difference, okay, because we were talking about this, and if it's compensation, it's one thing, but if it's compensation and settlement, then I believe we were advised that we would not hear the details if the matter was settled. Is that correct? Huh? Didn't we talk about that? I remember talking about that.
I don't know if we did. I don't think there is a settlement because we're still in pre-litigation, hence the...
No,
hence
I think the
change.
question was, what if it's settled?
Oh,
So, thank you, Chair. So this is just for the, for hiring of the special counsel. Part of the litigation process would be engaging in settlement discussions. However, under our charter, if any settlement is reached by Mar Jones and Wang, it is going to still have to come before the council for approval.
Okay, even though the monies fall within the 350,000?
The money wouldn't fall within the 350,000. The 350,000 is just for retention of counsel.
Okay, Just one meeting, 350,000, okay. I knew I'm going back to Maui Community College, becoming an attorney. Yeah. All right, any more discussion?
Yeah.
Member Rollins Fernandez.
Hello, Chair. I recall that discussion about including settlement, and I think it was like in the be it resolved. I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but I remember that nuance of only litigation and not settlement authorization, and not that the not that the amount would come from the 350,000, but we would be authorizing him to, or the law firm to both litigate if necessary or settle if that's what happens. I recall that discussion as well.
Okay. Thank you. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving all of the...
Chair.
Yes. Member Rollins Fernandez.
Okay, so if we don't put that in, does it affect the law firm's ability to settle?
Mr. Rowe?
To have the settlement discussions?
Okay, Mr. Rowe.
I would consider settlement negotiations as being part of the litigation process, so I think that's covered under the authorization of counsel to engage in litigation. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Satisfied. Yeah.
All right. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand, say aye. Okay, 9 ayes, 0 noes. Member Paulton, 9 ayes, 0 noes. Motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to resolutions. Currently, no one has signed up to testify on the resolutions on today's agenda. So we'll go ahead and give last call for any testimony on resolutions. I see Mr. Law making his way to the podium.
Aloha kakahiaka ka'aha o ke kalana o Maui. Resolution 25-138. I was a lawyer in a past life, and I'm interested in this resolution, but I was having small kind pilikia getting information. As you know, I've been going to all the committee meetings, and I haven't heard nothing from this, and so I'll be checking up on. So I got a procedural question, Luna Ho'omolu Lee. Am I going to be able to testify on ordinances? I heard you say some stuff about, like, we're not taking testimony on this and that, but it went really fast, so I was questioning.
We're taking testimony on everything except the WILA 670 item, which we've already dealt with.
I have something coming up on ordinances. Thank you very much.
Okay. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Law was the only testifier, so we'll give last call for testimony on resolutions. Counting down 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's no one to testify on the resolutions.
Members, any objections to closing public testimony on resolutions and accepting written testimony for the record?
No objections.
No objections, so ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before you is Resolution 25-134, approving the fiscal year 2026 operating budget for the Hawaii State Association of Counties.
Member Paulton.
Thank you. I move to adopt Resolution 25-134.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Hodgins. Discussion, Member Paulton.
Thank you. So this, the council each council of the counties of the state of Hawaii must adopt a resolution to approve the operating budget for HSAC before the ensuing fiscal year begins, or as reasonably close as possible. And so it begins tomorrow, and this is the operating budget for the Hawaii State Association of Counties. I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion.
Okay, we're 24 hours early. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye. Okay, I don't see member, oh, I see her. Okay, 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Chair. Before you is Resolution 25-135, proposing an amendment to the revised charter of the County of Maui, 1983, as amended on the Planning Commission's review of general plan and land use ordinances.
Member Rollins Fernandez?
I believe this may be Member Paulton.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Member Paulton.
I move to adopt Resolution 25-135.
Second. Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Sinensi to approve also adopt Resolution 25-135. Discussion, Member Paulton.
Thank you. This would amend the county charter to provide clarity and consistency in deadlines for Planning Commission review of revisions to the general plan, zoning ordinances, and other land use ordinances proposed by the council, and transmittal of related findings and recommendations to the council. So this is a kind of a snafu that we encountered when we proposed the Grace Baptist Church, and the Planning Commission didn't review it because it was a hectic time, but and a new planning director. And so, like, you know, when does the clock start on 120 days and so on and so forth. So it's just kind of a housekeeping cleanup so that we don't run into that type of confusion in the future. Grace Baptist was not really a controversial thing, so we were able to muddle our way through it. But, you know, we could see this happening on something really controversial, and then it would be like a big snafu instead of a manini snafu. So just trying to make things clear and consistent and get the deadline straightened out. Thank you.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion of adopting Resolution 25-135, please raise your hand and say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before you is Resolution 25-136, authorizing acceptance of a donation of a one-year subscription to WordRake editing software from WordRake Holdings LLC under Chapter 3.56 Maui County Code.
Member Rollins Fernandez?
I move to adopt Resolution 25-136.
Somebody, second. Moved by Member Rollins Fernandez, seconded by Member Sinensi to adopt Resolution 25-136. Discussion, Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. Making this motion on your behalf, WorldRake Holdings LLC would like to donate a one-year subscription to its editing software, which has an estimated value of $374,415 to the County of Maui. Chapter 3.56 Maui County Code authorizes the council to accept gifts and donations on the county's behalf by resolution. We would like to thank WorldRake Holdings LLC for its generous donation. I respectfully ask the members for their support of this motion.
Thank you. Any more discussion, members? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just going back for the record and public's information, Resolution 25-135 related to a charter amendment will be on a future agenda as the charter requires 2 readings on separate days. So moving on to Resolution 25-137, authorizing acceptance of a donation of $3,400.90 from the Society of Tokyo Tama to help with recovery from the August 2023 Maui wildfires under Section 3.56.030 Maui County Code.
Member Paulton.
Thank you. I move to adopt Resolution 25-137.
Second.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Hodgins to adopt Resolution 25-137. Discussion, Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. we really would like to thank the Society of Tokyo Tama, which refers to residents and various organizations within the Tama area of Tokyo, for this generous donation to aid with the recovery from the August 8th fires, under section 3.56.030 Maui County Code.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand, say aye. 8 ayes. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before you is Resolution 25-138, authorizing a grant of a sublease of a portion of real property at 22099 Wall Street, Wailuku, Maui, Hawaii, to Maui Family Support Services, Inc.
Member Sinensi.
Mahalo, Chair. Move to adopt Resolution 25-138.
Moved by Member Sinensi, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to adopt Resolution 25-138. Mr. Sinensi.
Mahalo, Chair. Move to substitute Resolution 25-138 with the proposed FD1 version distributed with the ASF during today's meeting.
Second, somebody? Moved by Member Sinensi, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to substitute the motion with an amendment summary form as just distributed. Discussion? Discussion, Member Sinensi?
Mahalo, Chair. Members, please refer to my ASF. The proposed FD1 version is approved as to form and legality by the Department of Corporation Counsel. It corrects tax map key number in the second be it resolved clause. It corrects a name in the first paragraph under Witnessette in Exhibit 1, and it makes minor revisions to enhance clarity of the resolution. And if my amendment passes, I'll also move to suspend Rule 19.
Any more discussion? If not, those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Member Sinensi?
Mahalo, Chair. Move to suspend Rule 19 of the Rules of the Council to allow final action at the same meeting as an amendment.
Moved by Member Sinensi, seconded by Member Sugimura to suspend Rule 19. Any more discussion, Member Sinensi?
Thank you, Chair. Members, Resolution 25-138 authorizes the county to sublease a portion of the real property at 2099 Wells Street, Wailuku, to Maui Family Support Services, Inc., a domestic nonprofit corporation, rent-free. Floor action is being requested by the administration as the effective date of the lease is July 1st, 2025, and I ask for the members' full support.
Any more discussion? Obviously, this is time sensitive, members. All those in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
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 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And back to the main motion as substituted.
All in favor of the
No
motion,
discussion.
the main motion as substituted, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That completes resolution. So moving on to ordinances. At this time, individuals may testify on the ordinances listed on today's agenda. Seeing Mr. Law, he's currently the only testifier. Please go ahead.
Aloha kakahiaka, aloha kako, aloha akaku. Ovau JC Law, kula uko, wakoa ahupoa, and bon dia from the Kula Roman Catholics, the Holy Ghost Portuguese Church, Chair Lee. Bill, this morning I came in, I looked at my head was spinning Monday morning, and I didn't come down here last week, so it's hard to keep up with this stuff. I'm trying to, even, you guys know, even the guys that work here every day, it's hard to keep up with. So thank you all your staff members for that. And when I saw ordinances, it was Bill 81, Bill of Ordinance, amending Chapter 3.04 Maui County Code on information on county operations. I'm really interested in county operations. I'm actually trying to help, although sometimes it seems like I'm trying to throw a monkey wrench in there. And went to the clerk's office, and like I said, Monday morning, it was a little bit slow, but I did get the information. And I got the papers from the guy that answered the window there. So I know what that's about. But it probably would have been better off saving the paper. So my point is that, oh, okay, let me read this thing and then you'll all understand. Oh, and by the way, this is, the Hawaiian word of the day is pa lule. This is the same old t-shirt, but it's actually clean. And I don't, that's my church shirt too, so I mean, that's all I got. I'm working on it. Here's a quote. When information which properly belongs to the public is systematically withheld by those in power, the people soon become ignorant of their own affairs, distrustful of those who manage them, and eventually incapable of determining their own destinies. Ironically, that quote was from Richard M. Nixon. So, yeah, I realize you guys are like the staff shortage and stuff like that, but people that don't have a computer, they don't have internet access, they don't have money to buy a phone, and there's got to be some kind of portal or some kind of way where we can get on a computer, because I'm able to get on a computer. I think it would save a lot of time and money if I just had access to a computer somewhere. So that's about it on that item. I hope Councilor Rollins Fernandez is listening for the second one, Bill 49. I know that's a contentious issue with you guys, but I'm going to stand up for my big brother. And seriously, I feel some very strong mana on this one. I feel like they should get the full 30% raise because they're doing all the work dealing with me every day. Thank you very much for your time, and I reserve the rest of it for the Hawaiians.
Thank you. No questions.
Chair, currently Mr. Lowe is the only one signed up to testify, so we'll go ahead and give last call for testimony on the ordinances on today's agenda. Counting down 3, 2, 1. Chair, there's no one to testify on ordinances.
Members, any objections to closing public testimony on ordinances and receiving written testimony?
No objections.
For the record. No objections, so ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair, for referral to the Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee is Bill 81, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 3.04 Maui County Code on information on county operations.
Any objections to referring Bill 81 to the BFED Committee? No objections, so ordered, Ms. Clerk.
Chair, for referral to the Disaster Recovery International Affairs and Planning Committee is Bill 82, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending Section 10.04.030 Maui County Code relating to authorized emergency vehicles.
Any objections to referring this matter to the DRIP Committee? So ordered.
Chair, before you is Bill 83, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending Chapters 2.28 and 2.40 Maui County Code on the South Maui and the Paia Haiku Advisory Committees to the Maui Planning Commission.
Member Paulton.
Thank you. I move to pass Bill 83 on first reading.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Member Sugimura, Vice Chair Sugimura, to pass Bill 83 on first reading. Discussion, Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. I was speaking with the Deputy Director of Planning a few weeks or months ago, and she did mention that this is a problem for them as they continue to have to staff this committee, but it hasn't. Since 2022, the South Maui Advisory Committee to the Maui Planning Commission has met a total of 2 times. and the Paia Haiku Advisory Committee met once in 2022. And so basically, I guess, the situation is that it's not working out how we had intended it. I know we had a testifier on Friday night that told us we should talk to the planning department and make them do it, but that is, as we all know, an impeachable offense to tell the administration how to do their job. And on a side note, I wanted to bring to the members' attention the great successes of the Ag Working Group, which is not a formal council committee, and they have the freedom to put whomever they like on that group. They have the freedom to meet whenever they like. They have the freedom to not post any agenda. And they've been passing a lot of legislation and getting their voices heard. So, I'd like to say that having this South Maui Advisory Committee to the Planning Commission and Paia Haiku Advisory Committee is almost limiting community voices from participating because they're subject to the Sunshine Law. They're subject to only review things if the Planning Commission gives the go-ahead. And so if the members of the South Maui Advisory Committee or Paia Haiku Advisory Committee wanted to continue on as an unofficial working group, be my guest and you can review everything and give your testimony at the Planning Commission as the Ag Working Group does. Like, I'm a member of the South Maui Working Group, and we've reviewed this bill, and this is what we think, because we don't tell the Planning Department and the Planning Commission what to do, and these staffers could be heavily utilized other places, as we see the Planning Department is doing a lot of outreach in the aftermath of the fires.
Any more
That's
discussion?
it for me.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Chair.
Member Uhajans and then Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to first say that I understand why this passed a few years ago. I get the intention, except to Member Paulton's point, they don't meet. And so in doing so, we are asking the IMB to review people to staff this committee. Then we're asking us to review, approve, and interview people to staff this committee. We are asking Corp Counsel and Planning Department to staff this committee. And we are asking everybody to apply to attempt to participate in this committee, except they don't meet. And so it is costing us a lot of money to have this committee not meet. And then we ask the potential committee members to come in and take their time off and sometimes spend all day with us or all afternoon with us. And it's probably so excruciatingly nervous for them to be questioned, which I know usually for these committees, it's not too bad, only for them not to meet. And so while I understand the intention of these committees, it just, as Member Paulton said, it hasn't been as successful as we would like to have hoped. With the changing of the Planning Commission, and now that we need 2 members from each residency area, we do have adequate representation of all the different areas of Maui County. And hopefully we have a well-rounded Planning Commission that kind of takes over these committees. So I'm going to support this today. I would also like to add that I'm sure none of these members forget, but for the public's sake, we did discuss how we can make these boards and committees more effective and a little bit more budget friendly. And so hopefully the great committee, I'm going to be working with my staff to do a 7B so we can ask the Cost of Government Commission where they're at in their study that we requested. I also spoke to Deputy Corporation Counsel Mimi Desjardins to participate in that committee and kind of give us a heads up on what Corp Counsel staffs and some of the problems and suggestions they have in order to condense these committees so that we can have effective government and make it more efficient. So that's all I have to say. I'll be supporting this today, and then we can continue the discussion with all the other boards and commissions in my committee later, soon. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Member Paulton.
Oh, I just wanted to clarify. I think it's a minimum of one per district, but for the planning commission, at least one per district.
Okay, got it. Any more discussion? Member Johnson?
Thank you, Chair. I think for me, I would have preferred to maybe hear a little bit more from the community or maybe have it in committee. And I don't know how busy everyone is. I think these commissions were created to give the community a voice, but if it's sitting empty, it's so frustrating. And I feel the frustration. I kind of a little bit nervous about taking away bills and priorities of former council members, but if it isn't working, it's not working. I think I was really wanting to hear from the district council members, so thank you, Councilmember Hodgins, on your on sharing your opinion on that. So I'm going to kind of follow what you guys are going with, but I'm curious from South Maui, Councilmember Cook, would you like to add in on that? Because you guys know your districts more than me. So for me to go and, try to advocate for your community when I think you guys could probably speak to it. Thank you, Chair.
Chair.
Member Cook?
Thank you, Member Johnson, for giving me the opportunity. I support this, and I think that Councilmember Paulton's reference to the ag working groups, how effective they've been, is a really good template potentially for our communities to have groups that work together to advocate for the community. My understanding of one of the big hiccups and challenges that the reason that the Planning Commission was not deferring or referring these to the subcommittees, the area district committees, is when you add the notification timeline and all of the other criteria, it really interfered with their ability to hear an issue, address the issue, and come to terms with the issue with their challenges of maintaining a quorum and the timing. So kind of laminating the sunshine requirements with two different committees was actually working against us. I think this will streamline it. It'll free up my district, represent my district community people to get together. And I would encourage that and hope to participate in it. So thank you for your asking that.
Member Hodgins?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Member Johnson, for asking that question. So I did answer earlier my thoughts were based as like the Great Committee Chair, not necessarily as the Paia Makua Haiku representation. But I'm also happy to have this in committee if you want to. I told Member Paulton the same. I'm happy to pass it today, or I'm happy to have it in committee. Either one works for me. But specifically as the representative of the area, one, Haiku has a really good organized HCA. They meet often. Our staff sometimes goes, and we get to hear from them as well. One of the people we just put on the last time, Ms. Vetter, she's on that association. And then as far as Paia goes, Paia is really small. The word travels really fast. And Auntie Mopsy probably texts me, and she's probably watching right now, so hi, Auntie Mopsy. She texts me all the time, and I really value her advice, and I take her advice to heart, and she's on the commission. And as far as Makawao, they're a little bit more come sit at the kitchen table kind talk stories, which sometimes I have the opportunity to do. And we don't really, and they're not on this, but I'm speaking because I represent them too. So both Paia and Haiku have good representation. That's just not necessarily seen on this committee. They have decent access to us and our staff, as well as you folks too. I know everybody here has a relationship with somebody from Haiku or somebody from Paia. So either way, either they're on this committee or not, I think they do a really good job advocating for themselves. As I said, I can probably assume Auntie Mopsy is watching. However, to your earlier point, if you want to take this to committee, if Member Paulton's cool with it, if the body's okay with it, I'm okay with it too. I'm also okay with passing this on the floor. But to your other point, I think we're going to have this discussion in my committee regardless, maybe not just about this one specifically, but thank you. Thank you, Member Johnson.
Member Paulton?
I did want to add too that I recently met with the Kihei Community Association, not specifically about this, about the procedures for the South Maui Community Plan, which we'll be going over with you folks on Thursday. But I did mention to them about this and gave them the Ag Working Group idea. Mike Moran was there. I believe he is a member of the South Maui Advisory Committee as well, and he was pretty frustrated that they weren't meeting at all. And, you know, it frees up folks on those boards to apply for committees or boards and commissions that actually do meet, where they actually could utilize their time wisely. And the Kihei Community Association was open to forming or becoming an ag working group type format, because they meet anyway also, like how member Ugo Hodgins was talking about the Haiku Community Association. So, I mean, the longer we delay this, the more that we can't redirect this staff from planning to do stuff that really needs to get done.
Okay, Member Johnson, and then Member Kama, then Member Sinensi.
Well, okay. Thank you, Chair. I'll just jump in real quick. You know, of course, my inner feelings, I a little bit have reservations about this, but obviously the facts are the facts, and it hasn't been working. I understand it hasn't been successful so far. So I think sometimes we have to pivot. But I just, you know, for the record, I don't think anybody would disagree. We all want to hear the community voices. We all want to have you guys come out and talk and tell us and, share your knowledge with us. But they haven't. So what do you do when no one's showing up? It's so frustrating. But I just wanted this voice, and I see other hands, so I'll defer. Thank you, Chair.
Member Kama.
Thank you, Chair. I support passing this today and doing anything else the committee decides whether they want to send it to committee or not. But I think the urgency is to just pass it out today. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Sinensi.
Hello, Chair. I can support it today with reservations until we can hear more from the community. I understand my members' concerns. I supported it back when we did create it because both Haiku and Kihei were one of the fastest growing communities, and we did want to get input from the community. But with the Wailea 670 and members agreeing to a public hearing to get more input from the community, I can support it today. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And for myself, I can support voting on this matter today because it's not that we don't want additional input. We're having trouble filling our current standing committees, commissions. That's one major problem. And the other major problem is that we don't have enough staff to go around. So, inviting anybody interested to just participate with the Planning Commission or apply for the Planning Commission positions, that would be very helpful. I saw another hand somewhere. Vice Chair Sugimura.
Thank you. When this came up in committee, there was a testifier who wondered about upcountry, and that discussion did happen with, I think it was Director Blystone, who reacted to my question, can we establish something for upcountry? And her answer was very clear, no. They're just trying to deal with the existing. So I think we're hearing why not another community group. And so therefore, I support this, and I appreciate working with Ana Lilis, with the planning department being so honest, and we appreciate Member Paulton bringing this forward. Thank you.
Anybody else? Member Paulton.
Well, I did want to clarify that HANA, abolishing the HANA Advisory Committee was never on the table. It was a charter requirement, but even that, in the discussion, Deputy Director Lillis said they don't support that. They wouldn't support taking away the HANA Advisory Committee because they would like to still utilize it. So I just wanted to make that clear that taking HANA Advisory Committee was never on the table.
Okay, thank you. If there are no more discussions, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand, say aye. I see 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before you is Bill 84, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2026 budget, Appendix A, Part 1, Department of Environmental Management, State of Hawaii, Department of Health, Clean Water Branch, new appropriation of $95,600.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
Objections. May I please request the clerk also call up Bill 85, 2025?
85 and
85.
just those two?
Yeah, just the two.
Okay, no objections. Ms. Clerk.
Bill 85, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2026 budget, Appendix A, Part 1, Office of the Mayor, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, new appropriation of $80,750.
Vice Chair Sugimura.
I move to pass Bill 84, 2025, and Bill 85, 2025 on first reading.
Moved by
Second.
Vice Chair Sugimura, seconded by Member Hodgins, to pass Bills 84 and 85 on second and final reading. Discussion. Vice Chair Sugimura.
Following first reading of the fiscal year 26 budget, the county received notification of new grant awards, and these two bills amend Appendix A, Part 1 of fiscal year 26 budget to add the two new grants. Bill 84 adds $95,600 grant under the Department of Environmental Management for the State Department of Health Clean Water Branch. The grant will fund an update to the county's Malaya wastewater study to explore sewer pumping options. Bill 85 adds $80,750 grant under the Office of the Mayor from FEMA's Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program. This grant will be used to acquire 2 electric vehicles. I respectfully ask for the member's support for my motion. Thank you, Chair.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion to pass Bills 84 and 85, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries.
Thank you, member.
Okay, next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to the ordinances for second and final reading. Before you is Bill 18, CD2, 2025.
Yes, Member Rollins Fernandez.
Hello, Chair. Compliance with Sunshine Law. I am at the Molokai Airport in a public space. So there are many people around me walking around. And we haven't boarded yet. So before we board, may I request taking up Bill 49 so that I can do the motion on that in case we start.
Any objections, members? Ms. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before you is Bill 49, CD1, FD1, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending Section 2.08.060 Maui County Code on salaries in the Office of Council Services.
Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. I move to pass Bill 49, CD1, FD1, 2025 on second and final reading.
Second. Member Rollins Fernandez moved to pass Bill 49, seconded by Member Hodgins. Discussion, Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. While this is not the version of the bill that I advocated for, I think it's in our best interest to move forward instead of sending it to committee, which is why we're taking it up on second reading today. Members Paulton, Sinensi, Lee, and I tried our best to explain the necessity of setting salaries that are equitable and competitive, that would carry the value of putting pressure on the entire system of salaries, having the ripple effect of benefiting bargaining units such as bargaining unit 3 and 13, and the private sector of similar positions. Support staff like these really make it possible for us to do the work on behalf of the public. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to get 5 votes to set the salaries that were competitive. but that's where it lands. So, mahalo, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam
Which
Chair.
was the other one, Member Rollins Fernandez, you wanted us to?
That was a resolution.
Oh, we took it up already. It was a resolution.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Mahalo.
Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Going back to Bill 18, CD2, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 2.56 Maui County Code to establish a pay range and pay scales for the Board of Ethics staff.
Vice Chair Sugimura?
If there are no objections, may I please request the clerk also bring up Bill 58 CD1, Bill 63 CD1, Bill 64 CD1, and Bill 80 CD1, 2025. Thank
Any
you.
objections, members? No objections, so ordered. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before you is Bill 58, CD1, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for the County of Maui, estimated revenues, Department of Finance, countywide costs reimbursement to the general fund for projects disqualified from tax-exempt bond issuance. Bill 63, CD1, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for the County of Maui, estimated revenues, capital improvement projects, Department of Management, Wailuku Kahului Community Plan Area, Government Facilities Bond Fund, acquisition of 105 North Market Street Building and property in Appendix C, Department of Management, Wailuku Kahului Community Plan Area, acquisition of 105 North Market Street Building and property. Bill 64, CD1, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending ordinance number 5659, bill number 62, CD1, 2024, relating to the issuance of general obligation bonds with the County of Maui, issuance, sale, and delivery of said bonds, Department of Management, and Bill 80, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 3.36 Maui County Code relating to the Maui County Grants Program.
Vice Chair Sugimura?
I move to pass Bill 18 CD2 2025, Bill 58 CD1 2025, Bill 63 CD1 2025, Bill 64 CD1 2025, and Bill 80 2025 on second and final reading.
Moved by Vice Chair Sugimura, second by Member Cook, to pass the bills as stated on second and final reading. Vice Chair Sugimura?
Thank you. No discussion. Thank you, Chair. And for the members' information, the clerk passed out information on Bill 80, 2025 for the grantees that would be impacted by this passage. Thank you.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 9 ayes, 0 noes. Member Sinensi, Member Johnson. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Clerk?
Chair, before you is Bill 39, CD1, 2025, a bill for an ordinance amending Section 3.68.030 Maui County Code on authority for fire hazard removal civil fines.
Member Paulton?
I move to pass Bill 39 CD1 on second and final reading.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to pass Bill 39 on second and final reading. Discussion. Member Paulton?
No comments. I respectfully ask for the members' support of my motion.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
9 ayes, 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to Bill 77, FD1 2025, a bill for an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the Federal Emergency Management Agency to allow the use of county property on Luakini Street, Lahaina, Hawaii for temporary housing project.
Member Paulton?
I move to pass Bill 77 FD1 on second and final reading.
Second.
Moved by Member Paulton, seconded by Vice Chair Sugimura to pass Bill 77 on second and final reading. Discussion. Member Paulton?
Let's get some survivors back home to Lahaina.
Yes. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Say aye. 9 ayes, 0 noes, motion carries. Ms. Clerk?
Madam Chair, that concludes the business of the council.
Members, do you have any final comments or questions? If not, this meeting is adjourned.
Good job.
Thank you.